Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on what I believe is Tuesday. Yeah, it is Tuesday. I don't really know because I'm on vacation. You understand what I'm saying? So I've been enjoying a little bit of time off and getting a little bit of rest and relaxation, getting prepared for these holidays. And I hope you're doing the same. So I just want to send out, of course, positive vibrations to everybody and blessings, and hope everybody have a good holiday and all that good stuff. So with all that being said, I know last night, we talked about, of course, the suspension of LeBron James, and, do we feel that that was warranted or not? And, of course, the suspension of Isaiah Stewart as well. And a lot of people, just had different opinions on it or whatnot. And me personally, I feel that the suspensions were, pretty accurate based on, what they suspended them for, because LeBron James, although you could say the elbow was unintentional, and I'm sure he didn't mean to hurt him the way he did, but he did definitely swing the elbow intentionally, because they weren't all tangled up that much, and of course LeBron was frustrated by whatever else. And we can see that Isaiah Stewart, take a look at this. Just take a look at this. And what do you see there? As you can see, Isaiah Stewart, he looked like he kicking somebody right there in the groin area. I mean, he got a lot of things that could be potentially going on with Isaiah Stewart, so I'm not sure there. So it could have been some chirping prior leading up to that, and maybe LeBron just said, you know what, I'm gonna put a little bit of oomph on this and teach him a lesson, but didn't mean to do it as bad as he did. But at the end of the day, I think at least a 1-game suspension wasn't too bad, because you cannot tell if LeBron James had any sort of malicious intent or not, and based on his track record, you don't think that he did, so that he would have. So I think 1 game is fair, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, how can the victim, the bloody fucking victim, they wonder how could the bloody victim end up getting all of the higher suspension than that of the person who inflicted the pain on the other person. And what I have to say about that is, Isaiah Ryder, you have to be a professional, and I understand you're going to get mad, but the league is just trying to send a message that retaliation will not be called for. And the way he was carrying on, continuing to try to come at the teammates, come at the LeBron James and LeBron James teammates, knocking over his own coaches who are older, who he could have hurt themselves, just having ill regard to anybody who was in front of him, knocking them over. And I understand that it's an adrenaline rush. And there was a player some years ago, and I forget his name. I wish I'd have looked this up coming into the show. Played for the Green Bay Packers, I believe, where he got hit in the eye with a flag, and y'all know those flags had little beads in them, and when he got hit in the eye, he actually walked up on the referee and pushed him and came at the referee, and people were saying, oh man, you got to know better than that, it was a mistake. But then you look and see the history. He has a history of glaucoma in his family and things like that. He has people that's blind in his family and things of that nature. So with all that being said, you just never really know what you may do until it is you. So I do understand they could show some sort of leniency, and I think 2 games is leniency, because when you continue to go after somebody after trying to be restrained by not only your teammates, your coaches, and security, then at that point, then you causing more of a scene than anything else. Because if it would have just been the elbow and the blood, it would have made the news and came and went relatively quickly. But because you escalated the situation as far as, just continuing to come after LeBron James or come after his teammates and Russell Westbrook or whoever want to get in your way, then, it was just not a good look for the NBA, and it could have caused more than what it was. So say he would have kept coming for him, and let's just say DeAndre Jordan would have just fired on him, and then if DeAndre Jordan would have fired on him, then, everybody probably would have got to fighting, and then who knows what could have happened, especially considering crowd. Now, I don't think the crowd would have got involved, and I don't look back at the malice at the palace, because players went into the crowd. I don't see NBA players getting to fighting and the crowd just gonna run up and join into a fight of the NBA players. I don't think that's happening. That was a specific situation into where Ron Artest, Meta World Peace, or whatever you want to call him, ran up into the stands. So none of these players were running into the stands, and I know the announcer said, hey, do not run out. Nobody run onto the court. I don't think anybody was planning on running up to the court. You know, I'm not a little dude by any means, but I'm definitely not trying to run up on the 6'8", 260 or 70 pound NBA player. You understand? And I know the bigger they are, the harder they fall and all that good stuff. But hey, you got to pick and choose your battles. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, that's all over. LeBron won't be at MSG tonight, Madison Square Garden, unfortunately. And now, you know, the Lakers will have to go on and try to get the victory without LeBron tonight. And of course, Julius Randle against Anthony Davis is going to be a great matchup to watch. I know last year, the last matchup they played back in May, the Lakers pulled it out by 2 points. And LeBron, as we know, was not playing in that game because he was trying to get prepared for coming back from that bad ankle injury that he had suffered previously. And it was a great game. Julius Randle really put on the show. Of course, he is a former Laker, so anytime he goes up against the Lakers, he wants to show them, hey, you made a mistake, you know, by bringing LeBron James here and, you know, all this. So at the end of the day, I still think it's a game that the Lakers should win. And I think, and I'm hoping that because of what happened the other night in Detroit, that it builds some camaraderie amongst teammates. And we know Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis already have a close relationship, and we knew that from when they started following each other wives on Instagram before Russell Westbrook was even brought to LA, and that was the murmurings that he could be brought to LA. So with all that being said, you know, they definitely are like brothers on and off the basketball court. But for everybody else to grow that same camaraderie, I think will be very key for the Los Angeles Lakers, because you can say anything what you want about, you know, X's and O's and ability and talent. But when you have the right attitude and the mentality of saying, look, man, let's go out here and let's take care of these scrubs, and you got my back and I got your back, you know, and, you know, when the fire is going, are you going to run while the house burning down? Are you going to stay here to help me put out this fire? Because if everybody stay to help put out the fire, then guess what? You can put it out with teamwork. But if everybody get to running and panicking and only one person is left to put out the fire, then you're going to have a home that's burnt down. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the analogy that I want to use when it comes to teamwork, especially on the basketball court, because as we all know, together everybody achieves more. So no one player can go out there and do it by themselves. Jordan couldn't never win it by himself. You know, LeBron couldn't win it by himself. Magic couldn't win it by himself. Bird couldn't win it by himself. Any championship team you look at were all great teams, and everybody knew what role they had to play, that they needed to play in order to be successful. Even if you look at some of those old Detroit teams, you know, Market Wire, you know, the microwave, Vinnie Johnson, he knew what his role was when he came in off the bench. Bill Laimbeer, you know, he wasn't just the best prolific offensive players, but he knew he had to be a goon and what he had to do to get grimy down in the paint and to play great defense. You know, same with, you know, Joe Dumars. He knew how to play off of Isaiah and vice versa. So even with the great teams like the old Celtics, you know, Mikhail, you know, the Chief knew what he had to do down in the paint. You know, his job wasn't to score a lot of points. Mikhail got the points. Parrish was the cleanup man. He cleaned up the glass. You understand? Bird was the scorer. You know, just like with the Bulls, Jordan was the scorer. Pip was to go out and defend and get others involved, you know, and things like that. So, you know, every championship team needs that. And the Lakers, they had the pieces. If Anthony Davis can play like Anthony Davis is capable of playing, and LeBron James can still play at 85 to 90% of what we've been accustomed to seeing from LeBron James over the years, and then Russell Westbrook can continue to attack the paint with his speed and put defenses on their heels and get others involved. We just need to see some continuity. We need to see people in rotation. It seems like Bazemore's played himself out of rotation, and Vogel has chose to go with Monk. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think it's enough playing time for all of them. But you just all about getting them in a rhythm. And when guys get in a rhythm, they know when they come in, hey, this is my specified time. I know this amount of minutes I'm going to play at this time. So they heating up before the game, they getting warmed up, they got it in their mind, this is what I'm going to do. But when you don't know, and it's a scratch, will I play today? How many minutes will I play? I don't, you cannot build a cohesive unit like that. You just cannot do it. And that's one of my knocks on Frank Vogel. You need to, I know you're still trying to figure it out, and that's what it takes, playing various different rotations to figure it out. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like Bazemore should have played himself out of the rotation, especially with Austin Reeves being hurt, and Austin Reeves is getting more time than the veterans on the team. So we'll just see how that works out as the Lakers go on tonight. I'm predicting a victory. I'm predicting that the Lakers will come out and be the aggressive team and be the team to attack. Of course, the crowd is going to be ruckus as always at MSG, but I just feel like the Lakers are too talented of a team to lose to the Knicks, and that's no knock on the Knicks. And then of course, this may come as a blessing in disguise because the Lakers have a back-to-back, and they will be playing tomorrow night at Indiana. And you have to realize this: Indiana, they just put the smackdown on the Chicago Bulls last night. I mean, put the smackdown, and we know what Chicago did to LA. In Chicago, Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine has been playing lights out basketball. So I didn't get a chance to watch the game nor the highlights. I just saw the score, and they beat them down. So the Pacers have some people on their team, Sabonis and others, that are more than capable of playing great defense and making the Lakers have to work for offense. And the Lakers do get in scoring slumps a lot of times during the game. So that's going to be key for the Lakers to keep the ball moving, not get stagnant on offense, and be aware of where the offense is going to come from, and make sure that you are running that ball through Anthony Davis, and make sure that he is getting a touch on every single possession. Because if he's not touching the ball on every single possession, you do not need to come down here just firing up threes without having passed the ball around and looking for better shots, looking for cutters and things of that nature, running some kind of pick and roll, some screen actions, some pin downs, or whatever you need to do. So at the end of the day, I still predicted Lakers victory tonight. I predicted Lakers victory tomorrow night when the return of LeBron James. They rested LeBron James, might I add, and they probably pissed off LeBron James, who has something to go out and play for. And then, if I'm not mistaken, the Lakers will be off for Thanksgiving Thursday and Friday, and be back at home for Detroit on Saturday. And that's going to be a very interesting game, to say the least. So, like I said, everybody, man, I hope y'all enjoy your holidays. I'm enjoying mine. I'm going to take a little time off. I got a lot of things I need to do. But as always, this has been your boy, B. New, and I'm yelling right on to the real man, and much love to these haters. I'm out.